If you've seen the video on us calling manufacturers and getting their response times and finding out how good they are, you would have seen we spoke to Daikin. Daikin got in touch with us and said, hey, we want you to check out what goes on behind the scenes on a strategic, sustainable corporate level. And that's what happened. So they invited us to their HQ up in Birmingham, and we sat down with Ben, he's nailed it. He's the guy responsible for making the Daikin Service App. Genius. And Costas. Perfect. Mastered the chiller side. He is running chiller software for remote monitoring. So we sat down with both of them. We went down through the cloud control software for the Daikin VRV. This allows them to look at several sites around the UK and monitor them, pick up fault codes. And then on the chiller side, and I was so impressed with this, I'm sure other manufacturers do it, remote login into the Microtech controllers on the Daikin chillers to get fault codes, even control. So you can control the chillers without even being on site. We sat down and went through them, truly blown away. If you are looking at commercial chillers, VRVs with remote monitoring to look at increasing energy efficiency and reduce call-out times, you really want to look at the Daikin range. I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. It seems to be with all manufacturers the same. It gets really good, then it goes to pop. It gets really good, goes to pop. Gets really good, and it just seems to just do that.
Yeah, I mean, to set up a level 1 help desk means you have to invest in those people, and then you have to train those people.
Oh yeah, of course.
And they have to learn, but they will never learn because they're an engineer. They're not on site with the gauges. So the whole point of level 1 is to capture, things like refrigerant charges, fault codes.
Okay.
People will ring up and they want to know dimensions of the unit.
Yeah, of course.
How long the pipe runs are.
Yeah, of course.
It's all available, but no one wants to go to the internet and find it.
Yeah, okay.
Because it takes time.
Yeah, of course. So they ring up, and that's what level 1 deals with.
Yeah. And as I say...
So you got level 1, and then is there a level 2?
So our level 2 is Daikin Engineers.
Yeah.
And we have some fixed help desk people. So apart from just having the fixed help desk, because the problem with site engineers, I can't control when they're needed on site.
Yeah, no.
The demand for site can be up and down.
Yeah.
But the advantage is if an engineer finishes a job, he can then support,
Take the phones.
He can support
Yeah.
the help desk.
Okay.
So even though I can schedule people to be on, so what we do, we try to schedule a number of engineers to be on the help desk. It's still down to demand sometimes.
Okay.
At the time, I was actually just a straight help desk engineer. I'd actually injured my leg playing rugby, so I was restricted to going out to site and so on and so forth. So I was purely in the office.
Mm-hmm.
Being on the help desk then day to day, I realised actually how many more phone calls we were getting. I think at the time we were up to about 95,000 a year.
Damn.
And
How long ago was this?
10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
And also realised how many silly, I say silly, small phone calls there were, just what types of fault codes there are, how to check certain components and so on and so forth. And coming from an IT background, so before becoming a refrigeration engineer, I did IT courses and so on and so forth. I thought, well, there might be an easier way to kind of help people. And at the time, obviously, smartphones were kind of coming through as a new thing.
Yeah.
So I decided, right, okay, I'll try and learn how to program in Command-C at the time on iOS.
Okay.
And I started off that way, just developed my own database for all the fault codes, added everything into that, then put in the thermistor checks, because that's just a straight calculation, mathematic calculation. Then added temperature points in there and transducers and so on and so forth, and thought, well, what else can we add in? So and just grown and grown.
So
and Altherma came along and just been.
So it's continuously being updated.
Yeah. So I think we're on our 3rd generation as such. I programmed all that over the pandemic lockdown.
Wow.
So pretty much.
So Daikin must really look after you.
No. No, I get.
Or have you got help now?
No, it's purely just myself. So everything on iOS is done now in the Swift protocol. So I've moved on to onto a new language on that. The Android system is done purely then in Kotlin and XML and so on and so
Oh
forth.
wow!
So both are
So it's actually you've made it robust. It's secure as well.
As much as possible, yeah. And on the 3rd generation, we introduced a sign-in system for it purely from feedback from engineers. We were hearing that. End users were obviously using it to try and self-diagnose their equipment, and maybe it had a bit too much information in there. So with the sign-in system, we can tailor what we see, even internally. So there are certain tools internally we use that can actually benefit our engineers, like site reports and so on and so forth.
So would you have you got plans for it for the future?
In all fairness, the plans going forward is actually integrate it through Daikin Europe. So Daikin Europe are now looking at taking it on and trying to integrate everything that we use. So eCare is another one that they use, and they want to try and draw everything in across the entirety of Europe into
Okay. Would you introduce video into the app without making it too buggy?
Yes. So
for example, how to diagnose an L5 fault code.
Yeah, that is
I
something.
know you've got that, but I know some countries now. I know actually some people on the likes of YouTube, they're actually getting quite known for actually just going through the Daikin fault codes and saying how to diagnose an L5 in a multi-split.
Yeah.
But to have a would you look at video?
That is something that's being looked at. So the whole there is a project in Daikin Netherlands that actually use AR glasses. So they actually use cameras and so on and so forth to actually scan the system and talk you through how to go through the fault codes. So that's all something, it's different affiliates we are looking at integrating into a large system.
So the Daikin Service App is actually your UK product. That's pretty impressive. That's well impressive. So have they got anything else like that in Europe?
They've got their eCare system, so Daikin eCare, which has been developed through Daikin France and Daikin Belgium.
Right.
And
it's to link that links to the Stand By Me system.
Okay.
So the future for the eCare is that you could go on to Stand By Me, you can do your design selection, and then the commissioning and the reports would all come back through the eCare app straight back onto the platform. So,
I see.
So the end user will then pick up the commissioning direct.
I see. But it's not so much of a fault diagnosis tool.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is still.
Yeah.
So
But Ben's is an offline. The eCare is an online tool.
I see.
Which is
So your service tool is, as I said to you earlier, it kind of keeps me knowing what I'm doing. You know, because if I'm in front of a VRV3, everything is on there rather than. I've still got, and I don't know, new age engineers don't have them. You would have seen these books. I've got these little books. I don't know what they're.
Bibles.
Little Bibles.
Yeah.
I've got VRV.
Yeah.
Are they VRV original, VRV2, VRV3?
Yeah.
But that service app eliminates most of, I'd say 90%, maybe 75% of the book.
that was kind of the reason behind it. There's all that you can't fit everything into an app, especially an offline app. And the reason why I wanted to make it offline is because we work everywhere. Sometimes you're in a basement, sometimes you're up on roofs. It doesn't always have network signal. So and that's one of the downfalls of eCare, which is why we're looking at trying to find a way of integrating everything into one point, which has the best benefits of everything.
Okay. And that'd be an overall Daikin Europe thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I think what tends to happen is like we can trial things, prove them, and then once the concept's really proven, Daikin Europe will then look to produce a similar type of app. But they struggled because obviously maintaining it and doing it in multi-language. I think now it's easier with the latest systems, but
it's also something we've spotted from a UK point. As a Daikin UK, we're closer to the end user, we're closer to the customer. Daikin Europe, they're obviously behind us. We can spot problems a lot quicker and fix them before they even get to that level.
I see.
So one of the things we've also come across recently is that maybe not everything's commissioned brilliantly. Right? Not everything.
You've only just come across that recently, really?
And how can we?
Have you checked every VRV installs pipes to see if they've been purged?
No, this is one of the things. So what we're looking at going forward is how to maybe standardise a form of commissioning across a VRV system or even our thermal system, split the sky out. Then to give engineers on the site a small toolkit of step-by-steps. Not necessarily it has to be in this order, but this is what you need to look at, this is what you need to do, fill it all out on your device, and then that can obviously go forward.
I'm with you. I'm with you. So your app, the future of your app, you could even, I know we were talking earlier about like AI and things and monitoring, your service app could be taken to huge lengths by even plugging in live to the app.
Yeah,
Or would that be a potential thing if Europe, where you combined it where you're online and there's actually monitoring of the products?
There's a lot of future developments in the way of monitoring products. So we currently have, and we have had for a long time, the Airnet system. Everyone.
This is what we were speaking about earlier.
Everyone kind of knows Airnet numbers, but yeah, the whole Airnet system is a system that was designed by DIL primarily for VRV systems. We can connect that to either a European server or a Japanese server, depending on the equipment. And we can monitor that equipment 24 hours a day, and it's got prediction logic built into it. So that whole AI system has been not necessarily.
How old is the Airnet?
Airnet started in Japan in 1997. We've had it in the UK.
So far ahead of its time.
But it was-
we've had it in the UK since 2008.
Yeah. They were using it for Kavini Pack. It was another Daikin product. I don't know if you've ever come across Kavini Pack.
I don't know.
So for the co-ops, for example, we did quite a big rollout in the UK of Kavini Pack. So it was a refrigeration unit.
Oh, it's a refrigeration pack.
But it's connected to air conditioning.
So it does refrigeration, freezing.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
So it was a bit like a free pipe system, but it was different stages of compression.
So, and you use the Airnet for remote monitoring?
Yeah. So it was critical to them.
So is it a Daikin product?
Yeah.
Everything's taken, yeah.
Okay. But it was just never, I don't want to say promoted. Did it?
No, Kavini Pack has now moved to...
Well, how many of these Airnet systems? How many of these Airnet systems are out there?
A lot.
There are.
Yeah. So
you wouldn't use the Airnet for VRV, or you would?
Yeah, It's predominantly was VRV.
So is this? So just to confirm, is this where you'd use the intelligent iTouch, but with the remote access?
Correct. Yeah.
That type of thing.
see.
Effectively, what it is.
And it had
it's
logic.
It's a permanently recording checker. So if you look at a D3 checker or a checker 4, it's all the same information. It's all the data.
Which we were discussing earlier. That is all the information. So would the logic in there flag up if there was a potential fault?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what it will do is it will, if there is a
Prediction
actual
codes.
fault, so if it actually physically goes into fault, it will instantly notify you. So email comes out, tells you the fault code, what unit it's on, and it will also give you the last half hour's worth of running data.
Before it went down.
Before the fault.
Yeah.
So it knows what happened prior to the fault.
But then what it will do is it will then, every hour, will upload the information, just general running information to the server. The server will then analyse that data, and if it notices that there is anything going wrong with the system, it will then notify you that of that also point going wrong. So it can tell you if an expansion valve's failing, if a thermistor's failing, if a compressor's failing, just through running current.
So what's super?
If you take VRV, what you don't know sometimes is before the fault code appears, VRV already knows there's something going wrong, so it's already taken action. The difference being that action can now be reported through the Airnet. So the engineer can actually turn up before the fault code appears on the machine.
I see.
If you're on the ball, but
I see.
you know,
I see.
this is a
So the AI sort of integration or getting intelligent with the systems, you've actually almost already got it.
Yeah.
You just need to actually brand it as AI and possibly remove the logic slightly to give it more of a, just replace the logic with a chip.
There is investigations into how they can do this for Altherma, Split and Sky Air systems as well.
Interesting.
yeah.
Because, and also, so AI, you know, we've done a video on it about AI and, you know, what could happen. You know, one of the big things is people seem to think it would take people's jobs, like most people think. But I think it's actually quite the opposite. Because it would actually raise a fault code before it's happened, and it's probably raised a call out for someone to actually attend rather than.
Exactly that. It's the fact that if you can see that a expansion valve is failing or has failed and is stuck open, you can go and change that expansion valve
before you have your fault code appear.
Before all the liquid floods back to the compressor and your compressor's failed. So all of a sudden you've changed a £100, £200 part rather than thousands of pounds worth of repair works. 400 and something on sites.
Sorry, you know what I was saying about Panasonic have got a cloud product for their VRVs? Yeah. This is it?
Yeah. So
why didn't you tell me to shut up and like you've got your own product?
I did. That's what I told you we had it.
This even looks better.
So yeah, we've got 430 odd sites across the UK. Most of them are simple control systems for shops. Screwfix, for instance, predominantly the majority of them, just so they can use it for scheduling, turning on and off their equipment, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So do they pay Daikin to manage off-site?
No, they manage it through their own service companies. We then give them access to that. So what happens if a fault happens on site, their service company will get that email to then go and physically see what the fault is, and then they can go and fix the issue.
Is this product for contractors to offer it to the client, or is it for the client to access, or both?
It can be both. So this is currently the last generation. There is a new generation coming out this year, so this connects with an ITM for monitoring data, but this will also give through the ITAB control. So you can connect VRV systems to ITABs as well. But with the next generation coming out, that will give you full control over everything and also monitoring on anything.
Okay.
So
And what does this? Is this connecting to your iTouch controller?
Yep.
Is this something which just goes in as a module with a router as such, or is it done through? It's plugged into the on-site network.
So yeah, it goes plugged into the on-site network. The ITM will then send the data out. There's no hardware there, and with an ITAB, the same thing, just connect to the network and then straight out to the system.
And we'd pay for do you pay for like a 3-year subscription or something?
You can pay for up to a 10-year subscription, and that's then done per fan coil.
Okay. And is there limitations on the products? Meaning, can we put chillers on this?
No, chiller is a separate system.
So it's
we
VRV splits, multi-splits.
Yep, and that's it.
Altherma?
No heating at the moment.
No heating, so it's a purely AC
Yep.
system
Yes.
for off-site remote monitoring.
Correct.
So what can you? How far can you indulge?
Well, as in to interrogate.
Yeah, in terms of interrogation.
So obviously I have access to everything in the UK, so there's quite a lot of data. It just takes a long time to load.
Ben can, by the way, whoever, if we're looking at someone, Ben can just remove, visually the client, the site even.
This is the problem, because I have access.
This is really annoying.
Yeah. You try sitting in front of it all day.
So do you have to are Daikin paid to monitor?
We have some sites we get paid to monitor, and then other sites are their own service teams, obviously, then link into it. So
this site here has got an L1, so
yeah.
You probably know all the fault codes. L codes are like the devil usually, as in like a bad day in the office, like, oh goodness. So that's probably an inverter issue or something to do with a PCB overheating.
It will give you a simplified endpoint, so it says
the play area, yeah, okay.
Error.
Nearly got it.
And you can see it's been going on for a little while here. So it first started 11 o'clock on the 3rd. Yeah, so no one's actually looked at this yet, I would have thought. And you can see that it's on floor 8 and so on and so forth.
Do you have the install data on this or not?
No.
Okay, so you just literally have a live. This could be a really old system. Well, that's the model, so that would tell you. Interesting. Okay. So you could then make a phone call or email the client saying you've got an L1 fault code.
The fault code will automatically be emailed. So as soon as that fault code happens, the client will get emailed and tell them that that's the issue.
Okay.
And then they will be able to access the system same as we do, and they can then download that data if they wanted to see what happened.
Does this data give you a bit like we said earlier with the service checker?
Yes.
Does it give you that much information?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So this is where we're talking about the data dump. It gives you the full data before it went into fault.
Yeah, so
this is what it will give you. So that's the previous half hour's worth of running data. So you can see this is the outdoor information. So it's P3 prior to that, and then an L1 for some strange reason.
Okay.
But it will give you then all of the information. So
pressures,
what's
temperatures.
actually happening, pressures, temperatures.
What's the
Operation.
What's the P3 fault code?
No idea.
That's probably a prediction.
I know it's another inverter fault.
Do you think it's an inverter fault? Could it be a power issue? Because that L1's quite a weird fault, isn't it? Plate overheating.
Yeah, normally L1's basically the inverter's failed because normally you would get L5, L9, which is saying you get into some current limits.
Yeah.
But when you get to L1, normally it's gone past the point of repairing them. It's probably done some damage, overheated.
Okay, here we go. I'm going for power issue. Comms. Sensor error. Okay.
Yeah, see, it tells you it's a P3.
Wow.
So that could be a sensor actually on the inverter board itself.
Okay.
Because now they've got additional sensors.
He's using his own app.
Yeah, so first slave outdoor unit reactor.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, damn. Got a thermistor issue. An inverter issue.
So again, you can then look back at the original point of that. So again, that's all of our information.
Yeah.
So again, it wasn't actually running when it went into fault.
Okay. So there is an issue with that inverter because it's actually flagging up a fault when it's not even on.
See here, obviously malfunction code P3 subfault 05. But you can, when the systems are running, you can see all its target evaporation temperatures, condensing temperatures. So you can actually scroll across, and across there's a lot of data.
Wow.
That's just the outdoor systems right away.
But this is something that can be looked at by the engineer to give an answer of, well, your system has been down for the last 6 weeks.
You can also see if anyone's put certain settings in that can change how the actual outdoor unit runs. So if they change the level difference, the 90 metre settings, any condensing target settings.
And this goes back to almost knowing what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we also then have all of the indoor data as well, so we can see that obviously suction temperatures, minute by minute temperatures of everything, expansion valve openings, set points.
This is a really good system.
It's a lot of
This is
data.
a really good system.
Yeah. So I think
Almost to the stage where you sort of think that if you've got a multi-VRV site, you'd be stupid not to have this installed.
Yeah.
because it's quite cheap. If you've got
I was going to say
an
the
ITM, you've got 10 outdoor units. The actual cost then to monitor becomes
is minuscule.
Yeah.
But it will also give you the Airnet number. So if it's an indoor unit, for instance, that goes into fault, it'll tell you that Airnet number in that data. You look to the Airnet number, and then you've got the indoor data. You can see the issue.
I'm sure the answer is going to be no, but can this talk to BACnet or Trend?
No.
Or is it purely a
Purely a Daikin system.
Yeah, okay.
Again, the next generation, they're looking at APIs to see if they can actually integrate that.
So it can somehow get the information.
But that's still very new.
Well, I suppose if someone's going to do it, it'll probably be you because you're quite open with your protocol.
Well, we try to be.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
Because the new Anecta systems, that's all got new APIs for it as well. So the new cloud systems.
Interesting. One thing, so who's developed this product?
This is a Daikin Europe product. And
So Daikin
Industries.
Europe, Daikin Japan. So Daikin Japan concept. Daikin Europe then's taken it on, and this is now a European platform.
And are these the same people that made the Pro Shop and the sort of the?
It'd be different parts.
Again, the Pro Shop was developed by Daikin UK and then adopted by Daikin Europe.
So what you guys have nailed over the others, it just works. Your online stuff, even this, it's just so user friendly. Whereas the others, all other brands as such, there's nothing that beats your Pro Shop. With ordering, there is nothing. Other manufacturers allow you to, I'm sure there are issues with it. There's nothing's perfect, but I can't order the wrong indoor unit to the wrong outdoor unit unless I go on individuals. But on other Pro Shops with other manufacturers, you actually have to specifically choose the indoor unit. So I could put a 2.5 kilowatt wall mount of a certain type of a VRV or VRF, and I could end up putting on a 2.5 kilowatt split unit. So the Pro Shop doesn't allow you to do that. This versus another manufacturer, which isn't your rival, it's another one, which is the Cloud, is so slow and glitchy. This is just like a decent product.
It seems a bit slow, but that is because I said we've got access to all of the sites. We're only talking hundreds of sites. That's why it loads a little slow on my computer. But yeah, if you've only got 10, 20 sites, it's fine.
So this will go to, maybe Costas is the man to answer it, but this Daikin Cloud software,
It's different for Daikin on site.
Daikin on
For
site is
chillers,
separate.
There's another platform.
they have.
Yeah.
There's another platform.
So you've got the same for the chillers?
No, it's a
Better one.
You've got something better?
I can't compare them, but I've got something different. That's right.
Yeah. You need to look at the other solution because this is more high tech.
Can we quickly look at it?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So this is, I would say, is more low level. But
What,
for
this
like-
is low level? Okay. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, this is going to be. But this is basically Climatics IC. So this is supported by Siemens. It's just tailored to us. So Microtech 4, Microtech 3, the POL 400.
So that needs to be plugged into the on-site network, and then you.
Or with a 3G modem, what we do, we just go and fit our own Daikin on-site equipment and we register these to the network. So at the moment, you can see these are our units in the UK, right? Well, I think GDPR with a little bit sensitive. So
No, he's going to. He'll block anything out. He'll block anything out.
So choose your favourite place.
The best place I've been to in the UK is York. That's probably the cleanest town I've been to. Let's go to York.
Okay, yeah. Let's go to York.
Up here somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go Leeds.
Yeah, let's go to Leeds.
Oh no, here we go. Look, what's that one there?
Oh, you like the red one, don't you?
Yeah, it's tripped.
Oh,
It's an EWAT 310B.
yeah. So this is the unit. It gives you the graphics when you select the unit. Red doesn't actually mean alarm. It's whatever you choose it to be. So red might mean the unit's not working at the moment. It's capacity off, 0. So at the moment, like you see, the unit's not working because maybe it's switched off. No, it's not. Sorry. 15%. So it looks like a screw compressor system. It gives you a nice graphic. It gives you temperatures, entering water temperatures, actual capacity, 14.3%. Gives you a good overview of what the unit is doing, but there's much more.
Is the purpose of this for me, my client, or is it for you?
There are different levels. So there's a user access level, there's a admin access level, there's a service access level. It's whatever an admin decides to. So I can assign levels, different levels to people.
So unless we've got an arrangement with Daikin to be managing our sites, what would happen is we've had a phone call from a customer to say our chiller's tripped. We can sign in and look at the chiller to see what it's tripped with. Can we reset it and control it?
Yes. So
So it's not just a viewing platform; it's actually a controlling platform.
It is. It's fully configurable as well. Like say you're the commissioning engineer, you went to commission a chiller, and you left site, and then we found out, oh, you made a mistake. I can go and correct your mistake. I can reconfigure your mistake.
Okay.
It doesn't happen, but it is potentially an option.
Does this, these Microtech faults? Do you do software updates on them?
Yes.
So that can be remotely done by us or by yourselves, or.
This is a mock software. I mean, it's an actual.
I've worked on this. We've got quite a few screw units
So
with these on.
you can see the software version on the controller, and if there's problems or if there's improvements, let's call them improvements, isn't it? Yeah. We can upgrade software. Remote upgrade is not yet available.
What do you mean by remote upgrade?
Like I can upgrade software of a chiller from my Daikin on site.
So I still need to go to site. You still need to go to site to do
At
it.
the moment, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I can add notifications. So let's say your chiller, your unit, let's say, because this
You know
could be a heat pump.
what's amazing with this is, I know we've got it the same with here, but we get quite involved with chillers. Is if we've got a low pressure fault on the system, we don't even need to go to site.
No,
Correct.
no.
You can reset the alarm.
We could reset the alarm, but we could actually just watch the pressures and temperatures come down,
Yeah, you
look at other parameters and say, well, we've got flow,
That's right. Yeah.
we've got flow, we've got really bad superheat, we're going to gas.
So I'll give you a quick overview because this can become very complex, but I like to keep it simplified. I can create my own dashboards. This is what I've done. So I've got a problem in a site. I say, okay, give me a couple of hours. I'll create the dashboard at the data points I like on this. So here's a quick dashboard of this. I like to have it in a new tab, and this way I can see the trends. I can go as much as I want back. I can go 2 years back and see, provided that the system was fitted, of course. Yeah. So I can say I want to see the last 4 hours. I can see the last week if I want.
What's really good with this is you don't need to be, I know you were saying it's more complicated than this.
Can be. Yeah.
You don't, looking at this information here, you don't need to be a super sophisticated AC guy because
That's right. Everything's there.
you've got ambient leaving water temperature pressures, temperatures.
You can turn them on and off.
Yes, that's right.
Configure them.
So I can remove whatever I don't like. I don't care about the ambient. Remove it. Simplify it. Make it more easy to see. Right. So the blue line is alarms. So if
smart
someone says,
management tool.
okay, what happened there? I can go where the alarm was enabled, was activated,
And you can see everything else, what everything else is
I
doing.
can. Let me drag this down a little bit. So, there you go.
You know why I love this? Because and I'm sure you've had it on many sites. The amount of times we have issues with BMS with pump switching off, and then it trips on low flow, and then the chiller doesn't reset because it's the BMS connection doesn't force. The pump should always be initiated before the chillers, but what they tend to do is have them on at the same time.
Of course.
So what happens is they blame the chiller, and you say, whoa, wait a minute. The chiller is quicker than the pump set to react.
Yeah, that's right.
So you could say, well, actually, it's tripped on low flow,
Yeah.
same time every day, it's got nothing to do with the chiller, there's something else external.
That's right, but you go to the blame logic. Yes, that can be used obviously when you have a £25,000 worth of compressor. You can
Correct.
See, you can see
£25,000 worth of.
Yeah.
Do you do turbo core?
we do not much, but yeah.
So
it's
if
not
you've
our
got a
main
really
product.
nice inverter screw
Yeah,
or
the
something,
inverter screw is our main product.
and you can say, well, it's been stop-started every single day for the last 6 months. That's why it's.
That's why it overheated. That's why it failed. But the main idea is we are in Britain. Engineers are not a great amount. Distances are massive. Send someone to Leeds just to look at a pressure,
you don't need
alarm.
to go.
The cost of actually putting this on site against the cost of sending an engineer, you only have to go to site once.
Is it high hundreds or is it low thousands?
What do you mean?
Cost.
It'd be a few £100 over a year. Yeah.
And a very cheap subscription if you think about.
You're probably looking for a decent chiller engineer on probably £500-700 a day easily. So it'll probably pay for itself within 1 or 2 call outs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because once you commission a site, those stages, a lot of things can happen in the early stages where systems settling down, loads on the building.
Oh, of course. It's usually most issues that we have with chillers that we've just installed. I think we've probably done 7 or 8 in the past 3 years. It's always flow. It's always flow and balancing and commissioning, and it's what it usually is. But once I know not everyone agrees, but I love your scroll. I love scroll chillers.
Scrolls are very reliable. The good thing about them is there's no downtime.
Correct.
Because one scroll compressor stops, the other one takes over straight away.
And it's usually very straightforward to replace. You tend to have a high inrush and they tend to be less efficient and a bit more noisy. But when you're looking at this, can you isolate parts of the system?
Yes.
Oh,
absolutely.
damn. So you could turn circuit 2 off.
That's right.
Oh, wicked.
Circuit 2 compressors, you can disable compressors individually. And the Emerson compressors that we're using can take a lot of battery. They work up to 150 degrees discharge temperature and can take a lot of liquid back. So they're quite reliable compressors. They can have a discharge superheat of 65 degrees, no problem.
Before they.
That's right. So there's also the alarm ticketing system that is automatically generated, so you can choose an alarm that was generated. Not all the alarms have a description yet, but you can see like.
So I'm looking at this, and when we use the word AI, AI is easy to, because or even going back to the Airnet with a logic module, if you've put into the logic module what parameters need to be in place or limits for it to be a low refrigerant alarm, as in it's got low refrigerant.
Yes.
It would. But then saying that, you're going to get the fault code on this anyway, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. So this one, for example, circuit 2 failed because of high pressure. It just
High pressure pump down.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. So it pumped down because of high pressure.
Yeah.
And you can actually see the root causes. Sometimes this one doesn't have any, but you can see what happened.
What type of unit is it?
That is a heat pump, a multi-scroll like your favorite ones, R32 multi-scroll.
Is it water cooled or is it air cooled?
It's air cooled.
So you've got maybe a block coil or a couple of fans that are dropped out, or you want an issue with the HP switch.
Potentially water flow problems, or it's a complex route to.
You get
to
HP.
analyze.
You get HP fault with a poor flow. You won't get high. I suppose you would, wouldn't you? Yeah.
If they're changing over the pumps, if they have pumps on standby, they don't stop the chiller. They're heat pump. They change over the pumps. It could be because the flow has to stop for 5 seconds before it flags an alarm.
Yeah.
For a flow alarm. But you can create a report for the customer. You can actually send them.
It's good to know that because that is in all the Daikin chillers that we put in, can do this. So that's a wrap. We spent the morning at Daikin HQ in Birmingham. We've gone through how they on-site monitor customer sites, VRV chillers. We've gone through their product range. Daikin are on top of their game, and by the sounds of things, they're looking at offering support beyond anyone's expectations. If you enjoy the video, like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.